Okay, so to start off our video today of making the bed sheet, make sure you're in the for viewport interface. And you're going to want to start off by importing or just drawing a bed. So we can first do that by drawing the mattress. If you go to your command panel and under standard primitives, select box. And in your top view, go ahead and draw a rectangle. It doesn't matter what size. And then make sure to go in your perspective view to default shading and select edge faces. And then go to modify and add some segments to this, because when we go to turbo smooth it, we want to make sure that it doesn't just turn this whole thing into an oval. So I would add about 20 by 20 in the length and width. So then you can also go back to create and draw some pillows, and you can do that by also drawing a box. And we can draw that on top of that mattress we just drew. The size doesn't really matter. And then you're going to want to move it up to be above the actual mattress. You can do that in whatever viewport that works for you. Okay. And make sure under the modify icon, the segments of this box are also set to 20 on the length and width. So then we'll go ahead and turbo smooth these so they resemble the actual shape of the pillow and mattress as well. So starting with the pillow, go to modifier list and then go to turbo smooth. And as you can tell, it's smoothed it out for you, and you can also make it more smooth by going to iterations and just increasing that number. And then you can do the same thing to the mattress. So modifier list, turbo smooth, and you can change the iterations to make it more smooth. Okay, and then we can also copy the pillow, so there's two of them. So with having your move tool selected, you can press shift and move that, copy that pillow to the other side, and you can make it an instance or a copy. This is really just the base for the bed sheet we're going to make. Okay. So now after you have the base, we're gonna actually start drawing the bed sheet. So you're gonna wanna go to create, and under standard primitives, select plane. And just draw that over the bed where you would like for it to fall. Okay, so once you have that, go ahead and change the segments. We can make it to be really whatever you want it to be, just as many segments. The more segments you have, the smoother it'll be when it falls. So I'll try 30 for now. Okay, so once you have that, you're going to want to convert this to an editable poly. So right click on that plane you just drew. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. And then go to convert to editable poly. Okay. And then select this edge icon under selection. And before you select any edges, go ahead and click back into the editable poly and move up this plane. That way it's on top of the bed and not underneath it. Okay, so now we can go to edges, which is over here. And then kind of zoom in to an edge. You're going to want to select this edge that's closest to the pillows. So first you'll start off by selecting just one edge of a segment box over here. And then in order to select this whole side, go up to your ribbon bar and press loop. And that'll select that whole side of the plane. Okay, so then the next step you're going to want to do is go to your left viewport and then make sure your move tool is selected, and then you're going to press shift and you're going to move this edge that you selected up. So first you'll want to do it, I'll zoom in so you can see. First you'll want to do it at an angle and then select shift again and move it up straight up. And then you'll want to select shift again and move this yellow box. Make sure you're clicking within the yellow box. Then move the edge horizontally. And it doesn't have to be perfect because this is just going to be the fold of the bed cover. And then move it down again. Okay, so once you have that, select one edge on the horizontal, make sure you're in your perspective view. Select an edge on the horizontal part of that fold we just created, and then an edge on the longer vertical part. Okay, and you can do that by pressing Control, so they're both selected. Okay, then you're going to go back to your command panel, and you're going to go under Edit Edges. There's this Connect tab, and press the settings. And you're gonna wanna connect to, okay? And then go ahead and go back to your ribbon panel, and if you press ring, if you press the ring button, it'll automatically highlight all of the edges on both the horizontal and the vertical axes, and you can see this a little bit better in your front view. And then press connect again, and that'll make those two segments that we put into the settings in here. Okay, so the next step would be to rotate this plane. So go back before you rotate it into just pressing editable poly and make sure none of these icons are selected. Then go to your rotate tool, and it might be easier to rotate in the left viewport in the elevation. So you'll just rotate that about 30 degrees and then move it up so it's not going through the mattress. And then if you want to add materials to this, go ahead and go to shell in your modifier list. And then before you do anything, make sure that the perspective view is set just to default shading, so uncheck the edge faces. This way you can see your material. And then select override inner material and override outer material. And set this to 2. And then also set your segments to 3. And the outer and inner amount is fine left the way it is. So to add your material, go ahead and select your material editor. And then whatever material you have loaded, you can just drag over to your bed cover. And then you can exit out of that, and then make sure to go to materials under the standard tab and mark realistic materials with maps. And that'll bring in a material. You don't have to bring in a material, but if you want to, you can do that. Okay, so once you have this, go ahead and go to your modifier list and add cloth. And then go under object properties. Okay, and then add objects. This box will pop up, and then select the bed that you made. If you didn't name the boxes that you drew, that's fine. Just make sure you select all of them and then add them in. And then set those as the collision objects, and then go to your plane that you drew, which is going to be the bed cover. Select the cloth, and then under cloth properties, go to presets and select wet cloth. Okay, and under pressure, set that to 0.3. Once you have that, press OK. And then you can either stimulate with the progress, or you can stimulate locally. Okay, so I'm just going to select for this one, stimulate local. And it'll start forming to the bed. With stimulate local, you'll have to press it again for it to stop. And with just the stimulate button over here, it'll just stop whenever it's done. So just watch your progress, and whenever you're satisfied with the shape, you can press stimulate local again for it to stop. Okay. So once you have that, you can also turbo smooth it. So under modifier list, go to turbo smooth, and that should smooth it out. If you want it to be even smoother, you can modify that under iterations by increasing the number. But if you're satisfied with the way it is, this should be your final outcome.